must know, I don't know either. I've never double spent anyone.
Coinb.in.
Yes, thank you for informing us how to commit crimes.
Is that a wallet or?
It's a site or a HTML program that allows you to draft raw transactions and broadcast them.
Oh, interesting.
What's it called?
Someone knows how to do it.
Coinb.in.
Coinb.in.
Cool.
Yep.
If they want to look it up.
It's a VPN.
Enough about facting for a second. If you are going to want to build your own coin, I should talk a bit about the way to do that. You have two options. One is to start from scratch and build your own blockchain and own coin. A lot of people do that. If you're going to go that route, you better know what you're doing and have lots of resources. I've worked with people who
Like money, you mean? Resources like money? Or time?
Developers also count.
Okay. Alright.
Yes. So you could, like I work with Decent, that's one blockchain for decentralized media, multimedia distribution, and they just decided to build their own blockchain from scratch. They want more control, I guess, and it's kind of, I don't know, it's like an ego thing.
So that means that they're not part of the blockchain that Bitcoin owns, which means that they have to be verified on their own?
Yes, they have their
Similar.
own. If you do that route, start from scratch, then you need to come up with your own method of securing your network. Like Bitcoin uses miners. That could be miners, just like Bitcoin does it. There are other methods, like proof of stake, which is wherein, talking about mining.
Like a beef steak or a moose steak?
No,
Okay.
more like a stake in like project.
I was kidding.
Yeah, well, that's how I figured. But with Bitcoin mining, I don't know how much we've talked about it yet. Basically there's computers all over the world who compete to include your transactions in a block.
Does that mean that they get paid if they compete, or what does that
If
mean?
they win, they get paid.
Oh.
With each
Really?
block minted,
Wow.
well, they get the transaction fees that were in the transactions put in the block.
Okay.
And also, until the year 2140, I forget exactly, new Bitcoins are minted with each block. The miner also gets those. But there are other methods of securing a chain. Proof of stake is wherein instead of competing computers trying to solve a problem first to decide who wins and does the block, in proof of stake, it's people who have their money parked and aren't moving it. It's called staking your coins. And every person doing that has some chance of being the block constructor. But now I'm going to do a coin, and I'm not going to bother with that. I think it's easier to use an existing network. Because they already have a big mining network at their disposal, and it's just more secure. And really, it's not necessary.
So
to
that'd
make
be
your own chain.
Ethereum or Bitcoin, for instance?
Yes, you have several options. A lot of people do Bitcoin, of course. That's a popular one. There's lots of coins out there that are, like I said, you can put all kinds of things, not just who has how many Bitcoins, but you can add secondary tokens. Like Spells of Genesis is a video game powered by a coin, bit crystals. Yeah, I forgot my point there. But
Picking a blockchain, Ethereum and Bitcoin.
yeah, bit crystals are registered on the Bitcoin blockchain. So when you send bit crystals to someone, you send a transaction, it still costs you Bitcoin. So in this scenario, if your token, such as bit crystals, is held on the Bitcoin blockchain, then using it requires paying Bitcoin miners their Bitcoin mining fee. A lot of people will choose Bitcoin. Actually, lately people have been moving away from that because of the scaling issue, where right now transaction fees are going up.
That's because there's 3 transactions per second only.
Correct. And there's a huge argument in the industry right now about how to fix that. I wish they would hurry up. It's annoying.
And Ethereum is the platform that allows the blockchain to do more
Yes.
transactions.
Ethereum is probably currently the favorite for ICOs. And there are many reasons for that. One is, yes, it has more advanced functionality than Bitcoin. Smart contracts. instead of just data, like static data, he has X this, he has this many that. You can also put logic on the blockchain. Ethereum puts logical sentences on the blockchain. For example, if you send me 1 Bitcoin now, or send 1 Bitcoin now to this address, 1.1 Bitcoin will be returned to you in a month. I could create an automated entity like that on Ethereum with no human employees. This entity would live on the blockchain as what we call a smart contract and have its own Ethereum address. And it has to follow the programming rules put in the Ethereum blockchain.
Is that like an artificial intelligence robot?
It could be. If you could put an artificial intelligence are huge. The blockchain would get bloated if you tried to directly put an entire artificial intelligence on the blockchain.
So this is just a program that you're specifying to do a certain function.
Yeah, like I could make one for loans. A simple loan contract. It's good to think of them as entities, but they're not human entities. But they are economic entities. Smart contracts, just like a company, except no one owns them. They're autonomous. They live on their own.
Does that mean that I could take this contract, give it to someone, they would read it, they'd agree to it, and I'd have to live up to that contract and give them whatever it said?
You couldn't not live up to that contract. It would be impossible, because
Interesting.
the logic is built into the Ethereum blockchain. For example, suppose I built a smart contract, going back to the example, if you send 1 Bitcoin to this address, it will return you 1.1 after so much time. Then we would assume that smart contract is investing it somewhere in something.
And then it'll automatically take the money back and put it on that specific date based on the
Yes,
contract.
as soon as the date occurs,
Okay.
the Ethereum blockchain knows the date, and the Ethereum blockchain will automatically move the money. You cannot stop it.
So there's no trust involved.
None.
Beautiful.
It's better than courts. Even in court, I can refuse to
Wow.
show. I'll go to jail for doing so, but I could refuse to show up in court. You cannot refuse to show up in blockchain court. It is automated. So yeah, Ethereum's the go-to for ICOs now. Now one reason is the fees are really small. Bitcoins went up, and people don't want to pay them. And the functionality thing, right? It's just really, really easy to make your own coin on Ethereum.
Yeah.
And there's really prepackaged ways for you to do that, so you won't have to think too much. And there's also the immutability thing. Like, personally, like we talked about this a bit, Ethereum forked and split into 2 blockchains. And the reason for that was very controversial. The DAO project I mentioned earlier, largest crowd fund in the world, got hacked. Or not hacked per se. And this is an interesting question, right?
Exploited.
Yeah, exploited.
Exploited.
There's a
You
bug.
can say that the hacker followed the actual contract.
Utilized.
That's not
And yes,
as opposed to the intent. And because what was written in the blockchain wasn't what the programmer intended.
correct. So what happened with the DAO project was it had a smart contract like I'm describing. Its logic is built on the blockchain and it follows it in an automated fashion. But the people who coded the DAO project, bless their hearts, programmed it with very silly instructions, or you could confuse it and send it an instruction that would make it give you all of its money. So someone's like, sweet, he did that, emptied the DAO project of all of its money.
Not all, but
No, they shut it off when he got
Oh,
to
yeah.
the third. And so then, a big calamity ensued, and, half the community was like, we have to do something about this. He robbed us. And the other half, like me, was like, no, we don't. You're silly. You should
because you
lose your
didn't
money.
invest.
Well, I told you all not to, but yeah,
Good call.
but in the end, they decided to. In the end, Vitalik sided with the people who lost their money because there were lots of them, and they were angry, and they were probably threatening him. So he went with it, and they chose to fork Ethereum and undo history. Usually when we fork a coin, it's because we disagree about its protocol rules. Here it forked just because they wanted to undo history, not due to some other disagreement.
How many people are involved in this blockchain in order to do this?
I have no idea on Ethereum.
Huh.
What's up,
Lots.
Gary?
Wasn't it also sketchy? Because they wanted to switch to proof of stake, and if this attacker had all that ether, he could mess it up in the future.
You could, yeah.
Well, that was part of the decision, wasn't it?
Yeah, and it's interesting. What I wanted to bring up about this was it's not a hack because the hacker did exactly what the contract said he could. It's not his fault that they wrote a contract that says you can take all my money. That's dumb. So when they forked Ethereum to undo that, the hacker put out a big legal letter to the community saying that he was the one being robbed and claiming that it's not fair to him that the Ethereum community is stealing his rightfully gained funds by forking and undoing history.
Because he found the contract and
From his
enabled it.
perspective, he's like, well, I did what you said I could. I followed your rules, man. I mean, obviously he's being a jerk, but
Yeah.
he's not wrong.
Obviously.
So I think this is
Ethical versus.
Well, it's, yeah, it's the
Yeah.
ethics of,
But I mean, that's also clean business too. I mean, I was
Yeah.
thinking about ethical transactions over what business is these days.
yeah,
They kept saying code is law,
yeah.
and then it wasn't.
No, I mean, at the end of the day, when people are gonna lose all their money, you know. But my point is, that makes Ethereum more newbie and more mainstream business friendly. Whereas
So which Ethereum would you pick then, if there's two of them?
well, don't use Classic. I mean, I like that
Okay, that's a
Classic.
pretty clear direction.
The thing is,
I did
I-
sell all
It's
mine.
depends on what you want, what you're planning to do with it. When you're using different digital currencies, it's about what kind of, what you want your money to do or your value to do, really, what it comes down to.
So it's your entrepreneurial skills and your ability to transfer that into some kind of product or service or thing that is gonna allow you to grow the pie.
Ether Classic still has a huge market cap.
well, the thing is,
Real estate sounds good to me.
this is what happens a lot of the time. I think Bitcoin Unlimited will follow what happened with Classic, wherein Classic's idea is so honest and not corrupt. They want to preserve an immutable chain, but their programmers are not as good as Ethereum regulars programmers, and their program is a lot glitchier.
So the programmers make a difference in where
At the
you're
end of the
gonna-
day, yeah, it doesn't matter how philosophically correct and honest they are.
So how do you know who's
Program
good or
breaks.
not as a programmer?
Their program doesn't break all the time.
Ah, so people testing it.
Yes.
Alright.
Uh,
That's why Bitcoin right now is what you said at the beginning is the kind of the granddaddy, the one that's unbreakable so far.
yeah. What makes basically.
Alright.
just curious, so with Ethereum, like I said, you know, JP Morgan, Microsoft, these big companies investing in it. Do you think they're investing because they're able to make these smart contracts in order to basically deploy automation to replace workers at some point? I'm just trying to wrap my head
I'm
around
sure.
what's their motivation for investing so much money into it?
What you said, replace workers. Who
Okay.
wants to pay humans? You know, in the future, we're all going to have basic income, is my guess.
Yep.
If this goes forward, because like you can automate a service on the blockchain. We don't need humans to provide that service because
Right.
I don't have to pay the block. Like I have to pay you enough to feed your family, pay your rent. I don't have to pay an automated smart contract that much. So everything gets cheaper, which is one of the cool things about this. And Microsoft can recognize that. Obviously, they see the potential. But again, they like that they can control Ethereum more than they can control Bitcoin. They can go to Vitalik and say, "Hey, kid, fork it for us." You know, like they'll just
Oh, it's more
pressure.
corruptible.
So
Not corrupt.
If the government wanted,
Yeah.
Ish.
if the government wanted to corrupt
Okay.
Ethereum, the government would lobby Microsoft to bully Vitalik into forking
Yeah.
Ethereum.
But they couldn't do that with Bitcoin.
Correct.
Well, they could essentially, but
So the challenge with
You could
Bitcoin is
try to
that
bribe-
transaction fees.
Yeah, you could try to bribe the Blockstream developers.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the Bitcoin developers actually work for a company, Blockstream, which is one of the reasons some people want to fork away. They don't trust that that's trustless, the company's influence. But the problem, like I said, is the same as the classic problem. The Bitcoin Unlimited alternative client is ridiculously buggy. So, at the end of the day, it's, you can say, well, they're with the company, yeah, but their product works, and that's what matters. Andreas was talking about that a lot, quality assurance importance.
So if you're gonna create a coin, the idea is to take into account the margins and also the reliability of the coding.
Yeah,
Yeah, you need your developers, you need your miners, there's a lot of things that work here.
Well, you might as well just piggyback until, I mean, for me, if I was gonna create, I couldn't even create anything like that, I'm still such a baby. It's like a baby wanting to build a house. Oh, I wanna build a house.
everyone will learn soon. I'm guessing ICOs are going to continue to grow exponentially. I expect us to see over $1 billion raised by ICOs. That will probably be passed this year, is my guess.
So how can I make one of these ICOs? I wanna make one.
There's marketing. Flat out, just start with marketing first and then development later.
That's easy. Marketing is fine. What I need is a team of people that are coders that understand that. I can go and do all the stuff with real estate. I can
Yeah.
take care of that stuff.
You know, you would probably lean towards Ethereum, I'm guessing, if you wanna do that. Do you have a question?
No, I just, to your point, like, I don't know, do you have a background in real estate?
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
And marketing first.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
like you were saying, Ethereum, it's like a smart contract, so you would basically build your like smart contract for real estate on the Ethereum network. But
Okay.
you would need developers to help you set that up.
Yeah.
So right now in your head, you see how it works. In my head, I only heard what you said and heard the words. And so I'm
I
trying to
understand the concept of
visualize.
how it works, but I'm sorry, we met when we first walked in the door. You actually program, right? I'm guessing you actually.
Not too much. I learned C++ as a physics major because they said it counted as a language, and I didn't want to learn Spanish or anything. But I don't know any GUI or networking. I can only make like math functions and stuff. So I made a text adventure once, zombie apocalypse themed text adventure. That was fun. But no, I'm not a great hacker myself.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah,
you need developers, flat out.
developers.
You need specifically a Ethereum developer, you'd have to get,
I need someone like Andrew who wants to maybe help me out and back it up with a
oh,
whole
you need
bunch of
something a bit more than, you need an Andrew like 5.0 here.
Yeah.
Well, I help a lot of people with crowd sales, and there are many partners with systems in place that you can just go
Vanbex
through and
does,
use.
right?
Yeah, Vanbex does it.
It's a local company.
And yeah, we were gonna try to do
So they
a
probably
workshop
good idea.
on ICOs to try to get you guys to come up with coins and reward one of you. But because the universe likes to test me, Lisa, who's gonna help, her flight got canceled.
Oh,
Yeah.
Chang?
Yeah, so she, I don't know why the universe does this, but it's interesting. Like, I know you're interested in making your own coin.
100%.
Does anyone else have like a cool coin idea?
Peace bonds.
Yeah.
Alright, we already know that.
We can connect the two.
I don't know, it's kind of like chrono banks, but like rewarding people with their time
I
as a way
understand
of
the
like,
concept.
like proof of work, but like a human's work.
That's an interesting concept. There is a thing called human mining. Actually, I used to really love a blockchain-based video game that was into that, where you win newly minted 100 coins go to people who are winning the game. So it's human mining, but they do not verify blocks, the human miners. And there's no safe way to do that. Someone tried, someone made a game called MotoCoin, where the winner of the game not only wins the money, but confirms and mines the block. And then one guy got so good at the game that he can win 1 million times in a row, and he just took over the whole network. Because if you can mine 2 blocks in a row, you can destroy Bitcoin or any other blockchain. That's how you implement a double spend attack. No one can ever be allowed to mine 2 blocks in a row. So this guy playing MotoCoin was just too good at the game, and he just kept winning, so their currency died. So it's complicated, human mining, but things, it's interesting. No, anyone else have any interesting coin ideas? You know, there's so much, like, I'm gonna do it at,
I want to do a TFSA coin.
yeah. No,
Tax-free savings coin. Absolutely. And that's absolutely possible.
yeah, well, on the
Yeah.
crypto end of things, it's absolutely possible.
Yeah.
Uh,
So I want to go and get my 5,000. I've got all the education for the TFSAs and got all that stuff. I know how to do that stuff. What I want is I want to know how to connect that part over. We talked about this over
Yeah.
to the Bitcoin or to the coin part.
yeah.
And so how can we take a tax-free savings account of $5,000 and then have the trust company agree to that because it has to be legit through securities. That's an easy enough thing to do as long as you have a template. You just follow the template, have them okay it, and then you can put all of your TFSA in there. Then it's all tax-free money.
So
Legit taxi money.
the Winklevoss brothers, the twins who sued sued Zuckerberg for stealing Facebook. They spent the last 3 or 4 years trying to start up an ETF that held Bitcoin in the U.S.
Oh.
And the Securities and Exchange Commission kept on coming back to them saying, "Oh, maybe," and then finally, just a month ago, they said no.
Wasting all their time, they just keep.
And,
So
it
it's
makes
because they
sense.
wanted the money, right?
Because
You have
they
to pay
don't.
every time.
They're
Because
jerks.
Bitcoin is a threat to the existing system.
Because
Yeah, that is 100%.
Because
yes and no,
I
the
read
words were they saw it, that it
Just
wasn't
the rich.
that Bitcoin was easily manipulated, and it is. If you throw $100 million at it right now, you can easily manipulate the Bitcoin market right now.
Oh, by making it go up and
Yeah.
increasing everyone's Bitcoin
Yeah,
shares.
Right now there
Ah.
isn't really a clean way to stop like big money manipulation in the Bitcoin
Okay.
market, and that's what security exchange is really.
That's
got
why
an
it's
issue with.
considered a commodity.
And I do understand, I
Okay.
do agree with the threat of the model, but that's not what they said.
But what if you could just create a tax-free savings account coin, where it would be specifically to be put for a tax-free savings account, and then that money would go towards, hey, real estate and a peace bond. You know?
But then, like he said, what about the real world regulators like your IRS? Like, I mean, I think
But
that's.
I'm allowed to buy any kind of real estate.
Uh-huh.
Period. I'm allowed to put my TFSA and direct it myself.
Mhm.
And I'm allowed to, as long as it follows specific rules.
Uh-huh.
So as long as I follow those rules,
Oh, I see.
who's gonna get me in trouble?
So you're kind of like, okay, I see.
There's specific rules, so if we follow,
Right.
it's the same as a contract. If I just understand the rules of the contract, can't I
Uh-huh.
just make all the money?
What you're saying right now is, I get what you're saying, but the problem is, there isn't really direct regulation in the digital currency market either. right?
Okay, so no one's done this yet.
No, it's there, but no government has put the rubber stamp on it,
Alright,
which is a good thing.
You heard of game credits?
Yes.
They're pretty
I'm
interesting.
super into blockchain-based video games. I own blockchaingaming.com. A lot of the ICOs I've helped are involved with that.
what is that exactly?
It's a good question. Remember when I told you that you can build an app powered by a coin, an access token, and you need the coin to use the app?
Like Chuck E. Cheese, you said earlier.
Yeah, or like
Alright.
Factum. You need the factoid to use the Factum app.
Okay.
You can make games that way. For example, Spells of Genesis, you need bit crystals to effectively play the game.
So you're saying you can use your PayPal account to go buy bit crystals, which turn into Bitcoin.
Not with PayPal. You can get Bitcoin with PayPal and get bit crystals with Bitcoin. I don't think they're paired directly to fiat anywhere.
Okay, interesting.
But this is a growing thing. So Spells of Genesis did it. Beyond the Void's another video game powered by tokens. It's the
What's the
Augmenters
dollar
doing
value
it.
behind this industry?
The market cap, let's see, Nexium's market cap is, I don't know, like 5-6 million. Bit Crystal's market cap's around 10 million.
What was it 5 years ago?
Didn't exist 5 years ago. But basically it's, and I'm pretty sure these are gonna be some of the,
Even a year ago.
this is gonna be a first mover. I mentioned this on the blockchain gaming panel yesterday, but I'm convinced that the video game industry will be one of, if not the first, to be blockchainified, if that's a verb, because of various reasons. One is cultural overlap. It's a very similar community, the video game community and the crypto community, a lot of people involved in both. And the other reason is the enforcement issue. At the end of the day, you can put your house on the blockchain, but when I show up at your house to rob you, I'm not going to be like, oh, it's on the blockchain, better leave them alone. It doesn't work that way. Nor do the police have to even care. You could say, help, someone stole my purse. It was registered to me in the blockchain, it's mine. And the police could say, we don't respect the blockchain. Sorry.
There's no legal authority on it.
Correct. So until we reach a point where people are looking at smart locking technology, where like a smart car can only respond to the person who owns it on the blockchain, for example. But until we get to the point where everything can do that, it's much easier to enforce blockchain ownership in a video game because it's a digital world, right? It can be made mandatory, whereas in the real world, we don't have to respect the blockchain. The game can be hard-coded to it. So yeah, a hugely growing thing. Game credits is one of the
Are you
big
talking
mover-
about evolving video games that are built upon each other using blockchains?
Yeah, kind of. No.
And I remember it, ColecoVision. That's crazy.
Yeah, you can do all kinds of things.
Played ColecoVision.
What Spells of Genesis does is it's a trading card game, and their cards are on the blockchain. Like for example, if anyone plays Magic the Gathering, when people go to play online, see, the thing with a game like I used to love Magic as a kid. I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm a nerd, but it's
I still play with my daughter.
oh nice.
Yep.
What's her favorite color?
Still pretty big.
She's playing blue and blue predominantly, and she likes my troll deck.
You. I was a green guy, but that's good. I'm glad she likes Magic.
Red deck, I like.
But you know how they're collectible and people buy the cards and some are very valuable. Well, then Magic the Gathering tried to become an online game. And this reduces your sense of ownership. When you can hold the card in your hand, this is mine, I own this.
True.
But when your card is on their game, it's stored on their central server. If I went to their office and destroyed their computer, your card would disappear, right?
I wouldn't even want to play that though.
Millions of people play it, but it's Spells of Genesis, since the cards are on the blockchain, if I went and destroyed their office, your cards would be fine. In fact, you could build new games and do whatever you wanted with them. But yeah, game credits is one. Game credits is not as fancy as Spells of Genesis. They don't put items on the blockchain or anything. They're just a payment gateway for mobile games.
So it's supposed to be interchangeable,
Which
you can have credits on different games that are all registered through it.
that's correct.
It's a pretty interesting idea.
So you can play other games with the same kind of.
Like a universal currency
Yes.
for video games.
No, I think they're going to do fine, and they'll do a good job of onboarding some traditional non-crypto game devs. But you got to think, man, like what they're doing, using it as a common in-game currency. I could do that with Bitcoin. I could do that with the crystals. I could do that with any token. I don't see the necessity of that.
Have any games started using Bitcoin
Game credits or Bitcoin?
within the game
Oh,
as the currency?
there are some.
Are they built into the blockchain into Bitcoin? Or are they their own blockchains? Created in
Most
Bit-
games that include Bitcoin are centralized. It's just a normal game that can recognize Bitcoins, interacts with the blockchain.
So you can earn Bitcoin and you can buy things in the game like armor and whatever else you want.
Yeah, or like there's a game called Saratobi you can get on your phone where you'll win Bitcoin from playing. But I guess my thing with that is game credits is kind of not as advanced as other game coins. All their games will need a central server. Game items are not on the blockchain, it's just a currency. And I'm more interested in really decentralizing everything. I don't know.
So what would be the major niches moving forward, do you feel, if we wanted to create our own coin? So a real estate coin, sure, fun.
That's
we can
one
deal
of the
with it.
big niches right now. In fact, just this week, someone in Brazil made a deal with the government for